Raid Shadow Legends. This is Stu's very crude way of doing a legendary tier list. I found this tier list maker online. You just go online, you type in tier list maker, it pops up. You press presentation mode. Anyways, let's get into it. Let's do part one because it might take a while. Alltan is the first one I see here. We can move around. We can put him on a list anywhere we want to. Let's go over here really quick. Look at Alltan's abilities. I've done a player guide on him. If anything, just scroll down on my YouTube channel. Look for player guides, champion spotlight guides, and you will see him. Anyways, so let's get into it. He does the attack down on his skill 1. It's not a high 40% chance to apply for a legendary that is pretty weak. He does do the 60% increased defense for your team along with the amazing passive that does a lot of things, and then he does shields if he kills somebody. You just read through it, you'll see it. Here's my guide on him. Sweet, this website is amazing. Anyways, I'm not here to promote that, so let's get back into it. If he had a higher attack down percentage to apply it, a higher chance to apply it, it could still be resisted, but to at least activate it, he would be in God tier 4 clan boss because he does a lot of DPS and he does a lot for your team with shields and the attack down, and you got to have the attack down on clan boss. So I'm going to put him at excellent because he still does crazy damage when he's geared up. You can see in my guide, you can see my 27 million nightmare clan boss run, and he just, you know, they're going to be good in different areas. We're going to go to another one, Bad-el-Kazar, right? We know Bad-el. Here he is right here, Bad-el. I have Bad-el, so it's easy to go over him. Let's go to Bad-el, see what he's got. Bad-el does healing. He has a 3-turn skill 2. It goes down to a 3-turn that places the continuous healing and places the poison on the enemy. This guy is force. He can go a lot of places. Even if it's spirit, it doesn't matter. He can still go there. You just put a lot of speed on him. You put reflex if you can on him. You can put anything else on him. You can put his first skill does an AoE that heals off the damage. So you could put stun gear on him so he can AoE stun everybody. You can put poison so he can AoE poison everybody. There's so many things you can do with Bad-el. And whenever you have a poison up, your whole team, anybody who attacks that target does 15% additional damage. This guy is one of the top guys, I think, for PvE in the game. He is very useful. You can use him to just basically get through so much. So I'm going to put him in God tier. All right, who else do I know in here? Let us go to, is this Biggin or Ignatius? I don't know which one he is. Let me see. I think that's Biggin. Biggin. Let me see here and see what we have for Biggin. Looks like him, right? It has to be him. It's not Ignatius. Ignatius would be a little fiery, more fiery going on in him. So it is taking a minute. Okay, that's Biggin for sure. He is magic, really good for. Now, I always talk about level 20 stuff. So level 15 stuff anybody can do. We don't need to worry about that. Once you progress in the game, get up there. Level 15 stuff is no big deal for anybody. Trust me, it might seem hard now, but once you get the gear, once you get your champions up, it is simple. So Biggin is really good. Let's look at his abilities. Attack one enemy, then attacks all enemies one time if the attack is a critical hit, which of course getting 100% crit or getting really close to the 100% crit is really easy with the new 6-star gear. Attacks all enemies, 30% chance to place a stun. That goes up to, you know, what, 50% chance, and then place decrease accuracy. Nobody cares about decrease accuracy really. On a 3-turn cooldown, and then attacks all enemies, turn meter decrease, and places the speed decrease on a 5-turn cooldown. He is amazing because he's magic on level 20 ice golem, because ice golem is spirit, and level 20 spiders. Really good for level 20 spiders who are also spirit, and then easily you can bring him into dragons 20, which is magic, and do all his stuff there. So considering he's so good for spider and ice golem 20, especially spider, I'm going to put him up here in God tier. He is just so good for spider. If you haven't seen him, maybe you want him and Biggin and spider, and it would just really just wreck everything. I can understand that. Ignatius, I can understand that. They're both really good for it. So I'm going to put him in that tier. Now we're going to go to Ignatius, since I was just talking about him. I wasn't really talking to him, but here he is. He is also magic, and he's going to go in the same category as Biggin. He's magic, so ice golems 20, spider 20 is spirit, ice golem is spirit, 20 is spirit, spider's 20. This guy wrecks because of the AoE burn on everybody. So right here, Attacks all enemies, 50% chance to provoke for 1 turn on a 4-turn cooldown. And then attacks all enemies has a 75% chance to place an HP burn, which goes up to 100% chance. Burn debuff on everybody. So all the spiderlings get the burn debuff. The mama spider gets the burn debuff. Any of them take a turn. Each time they take a turn, everybody's going to get hit by a burn, which does like 3% of their max HP. So everybody gets hit. So if a spider attacks, boom, everybody's going to take damage. If a spider attacks, everybody's going to take damage. It's crazy. He's got a crazy kit for spider and for dragons 20, ice golems 20. So again, I'm going to put him up here in a god tier for that. So who else do we have on here? Let's go over to, I haven't played my boy. I've got him on Cupidus. I've got him on an alt account. I haven't really had a lot of experience with him, so I can't really say what he's really super fantastic with. I know he's got an AoE on his skill 1, and again, you can do a lot of cool things with that. With artifacts, you can do stun, you can do poison. You can get artifacts on there for, excuse me, for a lot of other things. So it's just fun to play around when you have somebody who has an AoE on their skill 1. Attacks 3 times, and he does the HP burn. So he is good. He's okay in Clan Boss as well. And then places the attack. He places an attack buff on himself, and then attacks really hard. It's a really hard hitting skill 3. And then inflict 25% more damage to targets under. Oh, this is if Venus is on his team. Normally, you will never have Cupidus and Venus together. They are just too hard to pull. And then he has an attack aura for 33%. Now he is spirit, so you could again bring him into ice golems. You could bring him into spiders, which he will still do really well there, but not as well as the other guys, and not as well as other things. And even PvP, he's still okay there. He's not bad. So I'm going to put him, he's kind of good at everything, but not fantastic like some of these other units we just talked about. Oh man, I can't even see him. Okay, so I'm going to put him down here as excellent. What else do we have? We have Martyr. Let's talk about Martyr. If anybody has Martyr, you know how Martyr is. So Martyr is down here. We have her with, she's spirit. She can go anywhere there, though. It doesn't matter that she's spirit. You can bring her anywhere. She's a defensive champion. She does damage off of defense. So you load up the defense. She does the decrease defense on champions on her skill 1s. She places counterattack on her skill 2. So the counterattack, that's team-wide counterattack on a 3-turn cooldown for 2 turns. It's amazing. And then attacks all enemies and places a 50% decreased attack and a provoke. Now this skill right here on a 4-turn cooldown is very powerful. An AoE that provokes everybody and does an attack down to her, which she's very defensive based, and this ability hits really hard, is very good. In any waves, anywhere. Dragons, I don't care, Ice Golem. Ice Golem 20 used to not want to bring in counterattack because it was too easy to take down the main Ice Golem, and he would hit those thresholds and then do damage back to you. He'd have his 2 champions up, and he would ignore 50% of your armor for each champion up, so that's 100% armor that he would ignore and hit you really hard. Now it's not so much of a problem. It depends on the team you bring in. So you could bring her in there. You can bring her into spiders to get the counterattack up. You can bring her into force, Fire Knight 20. It doesn't matter. She goes anywhere. She was so good. And if you've seen her in PvP with lifesteal or anything else, Clan Boss, she's good. So we all know Martyr. We all know how amazing she is. So we are going to definitely put her up in the S God tier, it says here. I didn't make this little God tiers excellent, good. I didn't make that right there. This was just what came with when I clicked on this, and it looked easy enough for me just to do a quick video on. So I'm not saying God tier, excellent, anything else. This is what they put in the game. Anyways, let's get on to another one. Who's this? Lord Shazar. Okay, Lord Shazar has really good bombs, right? If he crits, the bombs go to a 1 turn, and they'll explode right away. He can put 2 bombs up on you. Where is he? Where is he? Where is Lord Shazar? There he is. Okay, so Lord Shazar has really cool bombs. Bombs aren't used enough in this game because they're just kind of hard to use. But this guy makes it very easy. So he attacks 3 times on his main. Deals increased damage by 15% when there's a debuff. Places a 50% increased attack buff champion, but removes place. Okay, so this one, Cruel Fate. Cruel Fate attacks all enemies and then has a 100% chance, fully skilled, to place 2 bomb debuffs that detonate after 2 turns. Decrease the detonation countdown by 1 turn if this attack is critical. Okay, with bombs, you don't need to worry about crit. All you need is attack, because when the bomb goes off, it's just based off your pure attack, and it goes past everything. No armor reduction. It's just straight damage. So But if you crit on this guy, it's going to be a 1 turn. So you do actually want some crit on Lord Shazar, because when you do this in PvP, boom, they've got 1 turn, which means when their turn comes up, they're dead. They take the bombs, they're dead. If you have high enough attack and you have decent crit, they get that 1 turn bomb, they're dead. And because of that, because he can lay the 1 turn bomb, and a lot of people top tier use this guy because there are a lot of tanky teams out there. They use him to come in, lay the bomb, it crits, game over, done. So for that fact, we are going to put him up in God tier S. Now, again, I didn't name this God tier S. We're just going to put him at the top tier. We're going to put him at the top tier. Okay, we're going to go with Longbeard. I know a lot of people who have Longbeard. I don't have Longbeard. He's a great legendary champion. People use him in, he should be right here next to, yes. People use him in Clan Boss. They also use him in other things like any dungeons that you're running through and you want to have all your people attack very often and do some skills. Let's get into it. You'll see here, attack 1 enemy, will ignore shield and block damage debuffs. This is good for PvP. Attack 1 enemy, place the weakening defect. This is good for Clan Boss or any boss you're fighting. 25% additional damage whenever you attack that boss. And attack 1 enemy with 4 allies. Increase the damage inflicted by 20%. This skill is amazing. People use this guy mainly that I've seen in Clan Boss. They do use him in other things, but because he's so good in Clan Boss, he does really ramp up your damage and brings the weakening. We are going to put him up at where did he go? 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 Oh man, I lost him. Oh, there he is. We're going to put him up. I kind of want to put him in between top and here and here and here and here. The first, and I want to put him in between, but since he's so good for Clan Boss and he probably is good for a lot of other things, I'll put him up, but I kind of want to put him in between. Anyways, that's fine. We'll keep him there. So who do we have next that I really know well? Foli. Let's get into Foli. Let's go Foli. Foli, I don't really, it's kind of hard for me to talk about tier lists when I don't really know the champions. Like when I don't get a chance to, where's he at? Where's Foli at? Foli, where are you? When I don't get a chance to actually max these champions out, gear them up, and then run them through every content, because that's what I do. I'll take my champions, I'll use coin, I don't care. I'll switch out my gear, I'll put really good gear on them, top tier that I use on other my top tier characters, and I'll run them through every dungeon I can. Any dungeon I can. It doesn't matter if I waste energy, whatnot. I'm trying them out. You know, that's the fun part of the game for me, is to try out as many comps as I can to run things through. Now, he was recently, he's the fusion that we've had that whole thing about. But he attacks 4 times on his main, attacks 4 times on his second. You get Giant Slayer on him. He's going to proc Giant Slayer fairly often to do a lot of damage to bosses. And then he attacks all enemies. Enemies under 2 or more debuffs cannot be revived. This skill does not go right now with the AI on Ice Golems. He is what, magic? So he's magic. He's good for Ice Golem. He's good for, you don't want to bring him into Spider. He's not good for Spider. But he's really, and he heals this champion by 20% HP boost turn. So people want to use him either as a lead in Clan Boss or just Clan Boss DPS. They've tried him out for that, both things. And people are kind of, they're underwhelmed by his amount of damage. I don't know that if that's because they're not using in-game gear, because again, I don't have them. But he's just a DPS machine. You bring him into Clan Boss, you put a lot of damage on him, but you try to make him tanky enough so he can survive. So maybe that's why he's not putting out a lot of damage. But I get a lot of words from him that he's not that great. So because I hear that from a lot of people, unfortunately, I'm just going to put him down at excellent. I'm going to put him down 1 tier down. I'm not going to put him at God tier, because if he was God tier, I would see videos out already right away with him doing crazy damage. There's one video floating around with like 45 million, him doing 9 million. But in that picture, it's actually just a picture, I see 2 decreased defenses up. So I don't even think that picture is real, but that's the only one I've ever seen. So if I saw other ones, my clanmates who have so many legendaries and this one, if they had been testing them out and they would have showed me pictures of him just doing crazy damage, and I haven't seen that yet. So I'm gonna put him there. Who is this? Who we have next? Who do we have? Is this Abyss? Is this one Abyss? I think that's Abyss. Okay, let's go over Abyss. This is only going to be part 1. I'm going to cut it short. I'm not going to make a crazy long video about everybody right now, just because I don't want to talk that long. I don't want to go over that many in one stretch. I think that's just too much. But Abyss is really good. She's Force. She's really good in a lot of places for clearing waves and for PvP arena, for killing people. She does an AoE that places the decreased defense on a 3-turn cooldown. And then she does an AoE. This one is very unique to the game. Attacks all enemies. Damage inflicted is proportional to either the champion's attack or the target's defense or attack stat, whichever is highest. And that goes down to a 4-turn cooldown. This skill hits hard, like really, really, really hard. So this one, I've seen her on in-game accounts on streams. She clears waves fast, very effective. PvP, the same thing. So because she is so good in those situations, not the boss now, but waves, making them very fast, and then also in PvP for clearing out people, I'm going to put her up here for what she does. All right. Oh, here we go. Saint Nick. Sir Nick. Let's go over to him real quick. We know how good he is. A lot of these other Sir Nicholas, a lot of these other champions I'm going to have to read up on, see what they really are. So I'm kind of going over the ones that I'm really more familiar with. So he attacks one time, 50% chance to place the freeze debuff. If you've seen him in PvP, you know what he's like. I wish I had him. I wish I was around when they had the fusion. Maybe he'll come back because he is super powerful. Attacks all enemies, places a shield buff on all allies. For 2 turns, the value of the shield is equal to 30% of the damage inflicted on a 3-turn cooldown. If that's not crazy enough, he places an unkillable buff on everybody with continuous heal buff as well for 2 turns, and that's on a 4-turn cooldown. And he gives all your allies 33% HP as the leader skill, and all his damage are based off of HP. So you just load this guy up with max, tons of HP, tons of speed, and he's off. You know, you give him crit damage if you want to, of course, but he is easy because it's just like the defensive classes. You load them up on defense, you load them up on HP. They're also defense, but they're also defensive because they can take so much damage, but then in turn they're giving out so much damage as well. They're dealing so much damage. It's crazy. This guy is overpowered. Not overpowered. This guy is super powerful. I haven't put any of them in like an overpowered list. This guy is super powerful. He's very good for PvE, very good for PvP, and he is void. So we're definitely gonna put Sir Nick up here on the top tier. All right, who else do we have? Let's go over to, what about Warlord, Venus, Xavia? Let's go to, we really haven't chunked through much of this yet. Let's go over to Xavia. Now she is Force. She attacks 3 times and has a chance to apply poison. She attacks all enemies at 50% chance to poison again, and then she attacks all enemies. Enemies killed by this skill cannot revive, deals damage from poisons, debuffs on the target instantly. Very strong. I've seen her in Spiders 20. She can still blow it up even though she's Force and their Spirit. I've seen her in PvP. Crazy damage for AoEs, and I've seen her in runs before, and you've probably seen her in Nightmare Clan Boss runs as well. She does a lot of damage. She applies the poisons like crazy. Her AoEs hit very hard. She has a good leader skill. She does well in all those categories. PvP, she'll light it up with the AoE. So we are going to put her in the top tier. All right, who else we have? Venus. Let's look at Venus real quick. She is void, and she is good. She's got a lot of cool stuff. Venus, where are you? Okay. The alphabet, got you. So Venus is here. She's void. She's really cool. I'd like to have her. I love her character model. If we go down here, she attacks 2 times, has a chance to place the poisons again, just like Xavia. Attacks all enemies with decreased defense and weaken. So she does decrease defense and weaken on a 3-turn cooldown for 2 turns. So that along with poisons, and then she has a chance to apply an AoE HP burn, which is again crazy. And even though she is void, so she can go anywhere. This girl in Spiders 20, Dragons 20, Ice Golems 20, it doesn't matter where you take her. Fire Knight 20, Clan Boss, she is unreal. She is void. She has a great leader skill. We are gonna put her up in the top tier for sure. Who else do we have? Let's look at Valkyrie. Let's try out Valkyrie right here. Valkyrie. Let's see what she's got. Valkyrie is rocking. She is a PvP counterattack speed manipulator kind of machine. Basically, she comes in, she attacks the enemy 2 times, decreases the turn meter by 10% on each hit if the target has any buffs, and then attacks all enemies and places shields and counterattack on all her allies for 2 turns. But it's on a little bit of a longer cooldown. So as far as Clan Boss counterattack compared to Martyr or Skull Crusher, it's just not that good. But this champion's turn meter will be increased by 10% each time any enemy champion places a buff. Enemy champions will have their turn meter decreased by 10% for each buff they receive. So she's really good against speed manipulation teams in PvP because it will make her boost up and go faster. It will make your teams go down. And then when she hits you on those counterattacks, she's going to drop your turn meter as well. I don't know if she's in game the way the meta is right now in PvP, where you just go in there and really just take somebody out fast, or you have a crazy tanky team if you can do that. But really the DPS and Lord Shazar and all that kind of stuff, it's all kind of too high to even worry about a lot of this stuff. So I'm gonna put her, and she's good in PvE in some situations. It's just longer with this cooldown for the counter attack. But if you have her, of course, use her. She's spirit, so she can go a lot of places. We can take her into anywhere but dragons where it's magic. Don't take her in there probably, but she's tanky enough. Look, she does attack, defense, defense. She'll be tanky enough that you could easily bring her in there. So for that, I don't think she's super good. I think she's really good in PvP. In arena, but the way the meta is right now, the way it goes down, maybe with other, if we have new guild wars come in or new things come in, she could go up a tier. But right now I'm going to put her down maybe to excellent. I think she's somewhere right in between, just like I would have put Longbeard. I think she's almost there, but just the way the game is right now, I don't think she's up there. She is very good, but I don't think she's top tier. So let's see who else. Let's go over what, 2 more. I think we've gone over. This is going to have to be part 1. Let's go over Septimus, this guy right here. Let's go over him for the clan boss. He is going to be top tier, I'll tell you right away, and I'll tell you why in a second. Septimus. Is that his name? Is that how you say it? Septimus. Okay, Septimus is here. He is spirit, and here are his abilities. He attacks one enemy, grants an extra turn, reset the cooldown of this champion's holy sword skill if the target is killed. Attack one enemy, will ignore shield, and then each attack has a 30% chance to increase the duration of all the debuffs on the target by 1 turn. Damage inflicted by each attack increased by 30% if the enemy's current HP is above 50%. And then increase attack, all allies attack by 23%. That's pretty low actually for a legendary. But we're not worried about that. The main thing about this guy is that he increases, is a 30% chance to increase the duration of all debuffs on the target. Now, this guy is spirit, which is fine. I've seen him in, sorry, I'm going up and down. I'll stop doing that. I've seen him in spiders 20. You get debuffs on the spider. You just keep, if he has 10 debuffs and this guy procs this, all those 10 debuffs will go up by one more turn. Same thing with clan boss. This guy is a clan boss killer. Him along with Warlord, which we'll go over next, are crazy for clan boss. They will bring up your damage so much. That's in-game content. I'm sure he would be good in anything else fighting bosses, but those 2 things definitely make him top tier for doing clan boss, for doing spider, for doing anything else that you want to extend debuffs on. If any new content comes out and it's all about killing that long battle with a boss, this guy again is going to be in-game, as well as Warlord. Here he is. He looks kind of creepy with that little gear on, I guess, over his face. Let's go over. I hope that's not his real mouth. Warlord is here. Yeah, he's got armor kind of covering up his face, making him look menacing. So he doesn't want to attack, 25% to increase the duration of all debuffs on the target by 1 turn. Again, we've got another guy who, he has a 40% chance maxed out to increase all debuffs. So this guy is actually, he's void. He is better than Septimus, but he is so much better than him because he also places a block debuffs buff on all allies for 1 turn and places a shield buff equal to the champion's max HP on all allies for 2 turns. Restores all allies HP. He is insane. The amount of healing this guy does and buffs, shield buffs to your team on a 3-turn cooldown once it's maxed out. And then he has a 40% chance on his main to extend any debuffs on the enemy. And then he attacks all allies, has a 70, what's it go up to? 100% chance to put each target skills on cooldown. It has a 30% chance to fully deplete each target's turn meter, which goes up by what? 30, 40, 50, 60%. It's insane. This guy is one of the top legendaries in the game. Has to be PvE, PvP. It doesn't matter. He can do insane things. So we are going to put him up here. So we've gone through quite a bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Is that right? Is that how many? Whatever. Somewhere around 16 it looks like I counted. We've got a lot more to go. This is going to be it for this video. I do appreciate everyone for watching. These are going to be my legendary tier list. If you want to check out any other Raid Shadow Legends content on my YouTube, when you go to YouTube, scroll down, you will see that it says Raid Shadow Legends, and you can click on that and see all the videos. You will see champion spotlights. You will see most viewed videos. Just go in there and you'll be able to see guides, beginner guides, and all of that. If you're not sure what I have, there it is. I will see you guys in the next, what are we going to call this? A legendary, Legendary, Stu's legendary tier list. That's it. All right, I'll see you.